Hello, everyone. This is Traveling Chuck, and I'm here with Brett Bower,
G'day, everyone.
Sydney Cartoonist, and he's graciously agreed to do an interview with me for our channel.
It's great to be here. I wasn't meant to be on the cruise for this long, but I'm very excited to be back on all the way through to Seattle.
Cool. Yeah, I think we're both kind of shocked at how cold it is today. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm wearing a jacket and sweatshirt.
yeah. Somebody said there was some snow this
Yeah,
morning. So I come from Sydney, Australia. So I was used to a warm Pacific, not this.
right. When you came in, I noticed that you had some paperwork with you. Did you happen to have any drawings that you wanted to show? Or...
Yeah, well, I bought some blanks. I thought maybe we could do a few drawings, and
Okay.
if you like, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Great. All right. Well, thank you. I'll do some drawing.
One of the first questions that people might ask is at what age did you begin drawing?
That's a good one. I guess I've been drawing cartoons for my whole life, but I was lucky enough that when I was in school, we do what's called work experience, where you go work in an industry that you'd think you'd like to be in, and you do that for a week or so. And I did that during high school. I went to Hanna-Barbera and did some work on Scooby-Doo, and then they offered me a job. So as soon as I finished school, I went straight into the film business and did an apprenticeship working on Scooby.
Oh, that's cool. Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
All right. No, pretty much recognize that character. When you first started drawing, was it for? Were you doing it because you liked doing it? Was it for fun, or was it?
Yeah, I think even as a child, I didn't, you know, you sort of spend a lot of time alone as a kid, with imaginary play, that sort of thing. And that was one of the things I think I excelled at. One of the things people always said I was good at was a drawing. So I guess that's where where I spent a lot of my time. And so it was, making up my own characters and drawing as a child. So yeah, it was at a very young age I would have started.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, during your career, or has there been other artists that have inspired you in any way?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, not just as an animator, but even working in other areas of design, like clothing design and print design and just graphic design. But if I was going to name a few artists, I think obviously artists like Will Eisner, who's a great American illustrator, cartoonist, Robert Crumb, who was one of those underground comic artists in the '60s. So they're probably the two biggest American inspirations I had. And then of course you get into all that Stan Lee, Spider-Man era of characters. But I think America for me had just those amazing classic comic book artists that just stood head and shoulders above anything else I'd ever seen.
Well,
Yeah.
you'd mentioned that you had worked for Hanna-Barbera. Are there any other companies that you drawn for?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done some work with Disney, uh, a lot of Australian film studios. Yoram Gross is a big one back down in Australia. We have a very famous cartoon down there called Blinky Bill. So I did some work on Blinky Bill, Dot and the Kangaroo. These are all classic Australian films that the Aussies will know. Um, I suppose most recently I did some promotional animation on a promo for Mandalorian back home again in Australia. So that's probably the most recent big name thing that I've done. Yeah.
Nice. Have you ever drawn anybody famous?
Yeah.
Have you been contracted or had the opportunity to draw somebody famous?
Yeah, it's funny. I had a shop in a theme park in Sydney, just underneath the Harbour Bridge. There's a little theme park there called Luna Park, which is like Coney Island. It's been around since the 30s, and I leased a little shop there for a while, and you'd be amazed to walk through. Like Nicole Kidman would be walking through one day with her kids. Matt Damon came through one day and I chatted to him and did a quick cartoon. These are just people walking in off the street, but just like your everyday Joe, you know, they've got to take the kids to a theme park and have some fun. So yeah, I found that those big name artists would just be traveling solo, keeping a real low profile, um, as opposed to your TV soap stars who crave the attention. But yeah, lots of movie stars, lots of politicians.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Um, who's been your favorite person to draw so far? Or favorite person or character? I mean, do you have any one thing that you really like drawing more than most?
You know, I mentioned this in a talk that I did this morning. The people I like to draw the most. I mean, yeah, you get to meet those celebrities, but when I do the caricatures, particularly on the Carnival cruise ships, where I'm getting a 10-minute spot with all these individuals, is I get a 10-minute window into your life, and you know, I hear some amazing stories. Amazing stories of survival and love and friendships, and people come on cruises for all sorts of different reasons. You know, some to have a holiday, some to recover. You just get this whole life compressed into 10 minutes, and they get to share it with you, and it's an absolute honor to be part of that. So I got to be honest, it's some days it's exhausting. At the end of the day, you've taken on board so much. But I get to meet people, and it's always a beautiful experience. It's very seldom a negative experience. It's always positive.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Hearing all those different stories and stuff.
Oh yeah. And people,
Sometimes it can rip at your heart, and sometimes
oh
it's like,
yeah, and people love to share. And if I don't speak, then they generally end up sharing. So it's good.
okay. Well, and one of the things I've wondered is, you know, because there's like with comedians and stuff like that, there's always that one thing that gets them in trouble.
Yeah.
Has there ever been something that you've drawn that has come, I don't know, come back to haunt you,
Yeah.
or something that maybe you wish you hadn't published, or I'm not really sure how to phrase
Yeah,
it.
no. Sometimes things come back to bite you on the bottom. Look, I think when you're traveling on a cruise ship, for example, we've got the world on one boat, and so I try and, you know, one thing I'm never is I never judge people. I'm always open and respectful of everybody's opinions and value systems and things like that. But yeah, you get like I never do politics. I mean, I could do politics. I do that back home in Australia, where I know the landscape. But there's no way I'm going to broach that on an American ship. It's just way too dangerous.
Yeah.
So I don't do politics. I don't do religion. Um, because there's so many other avenues. You want to be funny. There's so many other avenues to be funny
Mhm.
without having to, poke the bear or, I'm not here to agitate people. I think we can be funny without, trying to offend each other.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, sometimes, if I was to give an example, I did a funny cartoon about the port of Brisbane because it's next to a sewage farm. So I had all the passengers wearing gas masks, and that went onto Facebook, and then I got a lot of comments back at me, some were negative. Some people actually asking me if they needed gas masks, which was funny.
Yeah.
Just a joke. Just
Really
a joke.
just a joke.
Yeah.
Unless you've actually been there.
Yeah. You get there on the wrong day.
Yeah, I think the very first time that we went out of Sydney, which was not Sydney, but
Brisbane
was last year on the same ship.
Yeah.
And we were standing in line, and we're just like, "What is that smell?
Yeah.
Can we hurry up and get in the ship?"
Yeah.
So,
I couldn't get on the ship.
Change direction.
I couldn't get on the ship quick enough.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Would you recommend this field to anybody that is thinking about getting into it?
Yeah, what I do, that's a good question. What I do is quite varied. Like one day, the caricatures I do on the ship, for me, that's what I call business card work. That just I do that every day, all day. It's easy for me. It's it's fun, but to do it full time is taxing. But I do other things like I'll design, prints for clothing, or I'll do animation on TV. I work in a whole bunch of areas that revolve around the sphere of art and creating.
Mhm.
So my week is quite varied. There is no apprenticeship for what I do, and I think to be a cartoonist coming into the industry now is very different from when I came into it. I mean, now that we live in a digital world, so in my studio, I'm drawing on a graphic tablet. I'm not using a pen and paper so much. It's a really different way to, yeah. So, like, a lot of young people want to be cartoonists because they see the glamorous side of it. I'm doing talks, or I'm doing caricatures, or I'm traveling around the world. But gee whiz, that's only part of it.
Mhm.
They don't see the other 2/3 where I'm chasing the money, chasing the work, chasing the agent, chasing payment. So you still need to learn how to, spell and do math.
Right.
Well, they see me in the fun context of drawing cartoons, and that looks fun, and it is. It's great fun. But I spend most of my time chasing the work or chasing the money, like any job.
Yeah. Uh, Now, I know on some of I've heard where some of the artists and stuff have a special signature or mark that they put on their drawings. Do you have anything like that? So like if we're out and about and we happen to see one, we go, oh, hey, we know who that one is.
Yeah, I do. I draw a lot of Where's Wally style drawings that are quite complicated or have lots of characters in the sketch. And so often I'll hide things that, like I hide a lot of kangaroos, like little kangaroos, wallabies, in my sketches. Or I'll hide we have this ice block, called a sunny boy. It's like a little triangle ice block, which was very popular when I was growing up. For some reason, I hide those a lot in my drawings. So if you see one of my drawings, you're likely to see an ice block and or a kangaroo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Has your career taken you in any special places?
Yeah, gee whiz. It's funny. Yeah. I got a phone call out of the blue 2 years ago now from Carnival wanting me to come do some cartoons. And so I think since then I've been to about 15 countries in 18 months, 2 years. So I've been all around the place, doing cartoons. And I think I've been to a few exotic places. I went to Saudi Arabia a couple of years ago to do some artwork. Although flying into Saudi Arabia, you fill out your passenger card. What do you do for a living? I said taxi driver. I didn't want to be a cartoonist going to the Middle East. I thought that would make me a target. So again, I don't do religious drawings, but I didn't want them to think I did. Taxi driver, living on the edge.
Right. How did you get involved with Carnival, and how long have you been working for them?
Yeah, well, as I said, I got a phone call 2 years ago. They rang me up. It was very last minute to do a Christmas cruise, and Christmas is our summer, and we are cartoonists. We're really busy with Christmas parties and events. And I said, look, you're not going to get anybody good in the month of December, but call me in the new year and I'll give you some names and we'll see if I can't supply a few cartoonists. And so that's how it started. And it started with just myself. And now we're up to 5 artists that I put on ships with Carnival. And yeah, it's going really, really well. So I'm popular with the other guys because I'm the one that gets the assignments. And we all work freelance. That's just easier to come through one point of contact, and then I can provide quality artists because there's 6 million people on the internet that call themselves a caricature artist. But there's some that are good and there's some that are not so good.
Yeah. Now, do you, with your website, is there do you sell drawings on there, or do you strictly do it on demand?
Yeah, yeah, I think-
Contract.
yeah, contract. Yeah. Um, I do sell some prints. I recently set up the store part of my website. I haven't done that before.
Okay.
Usually it's a project basis or a piece of art basis, and I'll quote on the job, and then I'll get the job, and then I'll do the job. But as I've gotten older, what I'm trying to be doing is selling more like merch. You know, I sell T-shirts and prints and posters and that sort of things of cartoons that I've drawn. So that part of the business is still growing. And now these days too, there's a lot of called print on demand.
Mhm.
So I don't need to carry stock. So if you want a T-shirt with my cartoon on it, you order it on my website, and there's no stock carried, so it's printed when you order it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. It means it just saves me a lot of money. It makes it a lot easier to put a lot more designs out there in the market.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to contact you, they would go through your website.
Yeah, sydneycartoonist.com is my website, and I'm on Instagram at Sydney Cartoonist.
Okay.
And that's where you always see the latest things that I'm doing. For example, I'm posting a lot of the drawings I've done on the cruise. And each week you'll see the updates.
Okay, that was going to be one of my next questions. Was
Yeah.
if you had any other than just the web page, if you were on any other social media.
Yeah. All the usual, but the main one for me is Instagram. That's where your followers can see where you are today, what you're up to. If I'm working on a nice piece of artwork, you can see it progress.
Mhm.
Pardon me. So that's where you see the latest stuff. But the website too is also, you can delve into the different areas, the caricatures or the cartoons or the prints, the political stuff, Australian only.
Okay. Just send us whatever picture you want drawn.
Mm.
Is that something that you do also?
Yeah, happy to do it. I don't push it, but I do a lot of that.
Good.
Yeah, I do a lot of what's called, there's live work where I'll go to an event, but then there's also what they're called gift caricatures. So if it's a retirement or a birthday or a wedding, or you do a gift caricature. There's a red flag that comes with that though, because what happens is I'll say, send me some photos of each of the people. But what they'll do is they'll send me a photo from 10 years ago, this really nice photo you took on a cruise back in the Bahamas 10 years back. So you've got hair in that photo,
Mhm.
or you're 20 pounds lighter. So I do a really nice picture based on the photo because I don't know you. And so what happens is I send you the drawing, and well, hey, that doesn't look like me. Well, yeah, but it looks like the photo.
Right.
And then they go, oh, but the hair's longer or it's shorter. It's like, well, I don't know this. So that's the biggie. That's a big thing that happens almost weekly. It's like, yeah, no matter how many times I say it, you have to send me a current photo for it to look like you. It's like LinkedIn, LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and nobody's updated their LinkedIn photo for 10 years.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I can see where that did.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah, if somebody was to go to your website, let's say somebody's thinking about this field,
Yeah.
is there anything on your website that they can go to get like instructions on how to start drawing? Or
Yeah, there's a bit. I have a few how-to videos. That's a rabbit hole going down there. Where do you finish with that? So I've got some videos mostly geared towards kids. How to draw a boat, how to draw a fish, how to draw a kangaroo, how to draw a shark. Those sorts of how-to videos. Um, Something more substantial. I usually run, a masterclass, for a day or a weekend where I'll post up about running a masterclass in Sydney or Melbourne, and then people can come to that for the 2 days and not only learn how to draw, but how I run my business, which I think is the important part, because I meet a lot of people from like the National Art School. They go to fine art school. They become they learn all the technical skills, but they don't learn the business of being an artist.
right.
And so they're great technical skills, but they have no idea how to sell themselves as an artist or maintain an income and a business.
Yeah, right.
Two different things.
Yeah, I can see where that would be helpful.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any for anybody that's first getting into business or thinking about? Do you have any recommendations? Do you have any advice that you would like to offer to them?
Yeah, youngins. I think there's that temptation to go freelance when you're young. But gee, it's hard. It's really hard. It's taken me many years to build up networks and build up my brand. Um, I think if you're a young person, you've got an opportunity to get into the film business as an animator or an effects artist. I mean, there's lots more opportunities now. They're all digital. You need to go and learn those digital skills, but do your time. You've really got to do your time and learn the business and learn how your piece of the puzzle fits in with the whole film business or the whole, whether you're a storyboard artist or an animator or an in-betweener or whatever that role is. You have to be really good at your part and then understand how that fits in. And then that'll make you more employable and obviously worth more. But yeah, I would don't sell yourself cheap on Etsy or one of those Fiverr type websites where you're getting people doing $100 piece of artwork for $10. I think that's selling yourself short.
Right.
Get a job, learn the skills, get some momentum and time under your belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate this. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.